here with more Space Engineers, and today we have gone out and done a bunch of mining. Bring this up really quick, and let me show you. So we've got just shy of 40k platinum left. This translates into we'll drop this down here. So we've got about 1200 platinum. We now have basically doubled the gold. I went back and got like, I don't know, like 60 or 70k gold. I still need to go get some more silver, I believe. And we've burned a bit of iron making some more plates. So actually I need to go up here anyway and we'll grab some plates. Alright, so what we're going to be doing is, I've had a couple of people asking, how are we going to handle, you know, let's drop all that back off there really quick, and grab this, and like, go ahead and throw that back. That, and yeah, okay. So, what the plan is, and as you can see, I've already started putting in some additional thrusters. And you guys are all supposed to be turned off. Yeah, alright. It's one of those days. Let's get all these guys in here. Alright, and okay, you're no longer spinning. That's good. Alright, so what we've done, and I'm still playing around with this. I'm not sure which way we're going to go with it yet. I'm thinking that I'm going to take this lower thruster out and move it up. So we'll end up with 4 lateral thrusters, at least in this cluster, and we'll have the same on the other side. And we'll texture layer this stuff out like we did with what we have up front, so we'll end up with these having a cover over them. But the thing is that I'm thinking I may still want to put hydrogen on here, but the ship isn't really built for hydrogen thrusters, because, let me get in here really quick, we only have 4 hydrogen tanks. So we could put hydrogen thrusters on it and use them just as a transition from atmospheric to ion. But I'm not sure what the final mass is going to look like, so I'm not sure how many thrusters I'd want to put on this thing. And that's part of that's a pretty big problem, actually. So what I'm thinking is, we were talking about it before, and I'm thinking that we are going to go ahead and do nacelles on, well, not nacelles, but we're going to have a thruster area on here. And so that's what we're going to work on today, is figuring out how we're going to do all of this. Because we have some options as far as things like where we're actually placing stuff, but I'm not sure how that's all going to work out. Okay, so if we go with that idea, and we've got 8 thrusters for reverse so far, ion thrusters for reverse. And I'm thinking to maybe do a couple of more. So we end up with, say, something like this. And I want to check. Maybe. That may give us enough clearance. Well. So, what I was thinking, actually, let's go over to the other side and I can show you something here. Well, so while we're thinking about that, I've gone ahead and done a little bit of a modification to the ship, where we now have an ability to come up into here. And I'm thinking we may put general crew quarters up here, so basically the stuff that's downstairs, down on the hallway. That'll be, say, officer, engineer, like senior staff locations. And then up here, we'll end up with basically something set up in a dorm format. So we'll end up with bunk beds over here. And I'm thinking for those, I don't think we have a small grid version of those. No, we don't. Just those. And then obviously these guys have. So I'm thinking either do a row of these, because if we do that, these are what? Interior plates? Yeah. So if we do that, we can have, say, I don't know, would it be better to have it heads out or feet out? I'm thinking feet out would be better. Let me just do something like that. And then that'll allow us to actually block behind it and have stuff go up. And so that gives us a little bit more crew space, because we can do 3, maybe do another 3 here. And then, because this is going to be where the next wall is at anyway. So what I'm thinking is that this might be a good way to expand our troop capacity on board the ship. And then in the final build out, let's go ahead and fill this stuff in. We can have our multiple layers of armor here. So if we went like that, and 2, 3, so that would be that thick and that thick. Yeah, that should work. All right, so I'm thinking, actually, you know what? I'm thinking we should just go ahead, fill all of this in, like this entire area. And that gives us a little bit more armor protection. Do the same here. And yes, I am still thinking about the thruster placement, because what I'm thinking is with what we have already in place. Like I said, we have 4 thrusters on both sides for braking, right? And then we do 2 more here. That gives us 10, plus the 2 over there will be 12. That's pretty good. Pretty good thrust generation. You can actually see the station out there. All right. That's pretty good thrust generation for retro thrust. So I'm just not sure what the mass of the ship is going to end up being. And so I'm kind of hesitant to put a whole lot of stuff in. Oh, because if we're gonna have potentially atmospheric flight, that means we're gonna need the ability to have thrusters for, you know, forward, back, lift, and then laterals. And I'm just running into a problem of how much is too much? And I think this is too much. There you go, Bob. Pick that stuff up for me. And take that stuff out. But yeah, I think that's too much, honestly. So what I'm thinking then is that we just go ahead and go with what we have for retro thrust. And then that's lateral. Let's do this for a second. Let's come back here. Let's take a look at this thing. All right, I'm thinking we don't want to add too much more to the length of the ship. I need to check to make sure our sides are even. But I'm thinking, yeah, I'm thinking that we're gonna keep it, I think, within this realm. So we have a bunch of lift, thrust, and because what I think I'm going to do is I think we're going to use the atmospheric. It's basically if something happens and we have to breach atmosphere, they're really just to slow us down to keep us from completely destroying the ship. Ions are next to, pretty much next to useless in an atmosphere, but they are at least a little bit of thrust. So I'm hoping with the amount of them that we have, that it'll help the what atmospheric thrusters we have basically keep us from dying, if we're lucky. All right. Now we have the question of where's our? Oh. There we go. Move you, put you in. Okay. Oh, wrong button. Okay. So you will not fit in there. You're block too, like a block too wide. Yes, yes. Okay. But you will fit. Yeah. Okay, well, let's turn off Bob for a second because Bob's going to go crazy trying to weld these up. All right. And actually, 13%. Okay, let's see. I'm getting better, right? Okay, so the idea is that we don't want to add too much more length to the ship. I'm thinking that what we can do with it is keep the basic shape that we have, and the negative space behind the lateral thrusters, we'll put our primary drive array. And since we're really not focused on atmospheric flight, I think we'll just go with ions on it. And I may build in a couple of large hydrogen thrusters, mainly just as a means of rapid acceleration. We'll still need to start planning to close this thing up too. Alright, so let's, if we do jump drive, actually sideways may not be bad. Alright, so if we go on there, interesting choice in build states. Alright. I was like, do I suddenly have the ability to place completed blocks? So I go there. Yeah. And we're going to do the same over here. Isa, we'll do that. To there, okay. That's one on both sides. We're going to do a second one. And a second one on this side. All right. Okay, let's check to see what that does to the overall shape. Keeps us kind of boxy. Yes, I'm still trying to decide if I like that, having the crew area, that raised crew area up. Because let's get rid of this stuff for a second. Yeah, because the idea is that once this thing is airborne, or spaceborne, or whatever, however you want to say it, I'm not expecting a whole lot in the way of this thing really ever touching down again. So the ramp will probably drop down another block, maybe shift back aft one block. That might work, because if we bring that down another block, that'll help give us a little bit of clearance on this guy, because right now why are you unlocked? That shouldn't... Alright, I am confused. Wonder if I can get a... That is really kind of random. Because I don't really have any of the, like, gyros or anything in either. Alright, but I guess we'll, You've been locked the entire time. I am not going to mess with it. Because I don't want it to suddenly fall down and break. Alright. I think the only reason it's not causing any major problems is because we're in 0G. Alright, so no movement speed. Alright, well, whatever. It's a thing for right now. Okay. Alright, so now we have a choice here. And we're going to grab these just because. So we could have thrusters, like, say, what are these? These are 3x? Yeah, 3x2. Okay. So we could have thrusters that come out like that, right? And then run aft. And 2, 3. So you'd have something like that. We'd probably have, I don't know, a couple more up here or something. Or even run them across the face of this thing where we go, since it's a 2x. So something like that, and then let's go on to so you end up with maybe something like that, or even move them over a block. Because if I move that up one, so we have something like that. You are flush. Means we should be able to flush this one out. We'll flush that out to the bottom of the drive. And then you guys. And you guys. So you go. And there. So something like that, maybe. And that gives us 8. Because we'll mirror this on the other side. What if we want 1, 2, 3? Right. Did we do that? One block in? Yeah, okay. So if we do something like this, at least for general placement. And then we have the armor standoff like this. And the same here. So you end up with something along the lines of that. And how about if we go come on, there we go. That. If we do that, to there, there, no, but we could go that to there. Come on. To there. And then that brings it down. Okay, let's see what that looks like from the front. Might need to go weld that up.
Energy low.
Doesn't look like it's substantial enough. I'm thinking what we'll do is, since we have so many straight lines on the rest of it, let's go straight lines. And I mean straight lines. Which means we also can take that back. And then this is going to come up to whatever the height requirement is for here. Got a itchy arm, sorry. And so what I'm thinking then is that this will carry forward, and this will carry aft. So that may come out to, say, there. And then we step this down to this one. It comes out to here for this side. So you basically have a shroud on this. All right. Let's bring it. I just want to have that come straight down. I think I want that to come just straight down. And then again, this will all be heavy armor. We're doing more up to 8. And you will come in a block. Oh, that'll have to terminate higher, which is fine. It'll have to terminate there. So you end up with 2 layers of armor, 2 layers of armor. And then on the front, what'll happen is that we'll have this go out to some point down there. And then we'll have a second area, basically, that does the same thing. That just kind of falls short. So when you're looking at it from the side, let's get in here before we start taking damage. Ooh, close. All right. So yeah, so what I'm thinking is that we'll have it set so there'll be basically a layer, and then there'll be an offset layer that goes further forward, and well, further aft. So you'll have basically a large wrapper over top of a slightly smaller wrapper, which is over top of an even smaller wrapper. I think that should give us some of definitely give us the potential and ability to have something that'll be kind of interesting to look at texture-wise. But I also think that it'll help give us some of the protection that we're looking for, because we're at the point right now where we're pretty much ready to really start closing the ship in. Let's go ahead. And we're going to head out here. Because at this point, really, we just need this to come up. What is that? 5 blocks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go 6 blocks. And I'm just going to frame this space out really quick. Because realistically, we just need this to have enough room for us to walk through. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could even step this area down. And then we go maybe there. Is that enough room for me to get through without smacking my head? It is. Okay, coming down is a little bit different because we're speeding down here, but we can swap that out for like 45s or something, or even 2x1s. Or maybe even put in like 2x1 windows to give us light on the inside there. And then we did 6, right? Yeah. 2, 2. And that should meet up. Yep, okay. And then that one's obviously high enough. And so on this one, that's 3, 4, 5. And to see the reason I wanted to turn the nanobots off, because if we do this, okay, so what I'm thinking here is I am going to, yes, bring this wall in. And bring that wall in. There we go. Go ahead and weld that one up. And then what this will give us is the ability to have a little bit more armor in this area just to bluff this out some. If we're thinking about putting in any mod weaponry, we'd actually be able to mount the modded weapons up here. But we'll see how all that works out, because you guys and we have to do this on the other side as well. This is where the armor is actually going to come up to. So we're going to have armor all over this thing from that point forward. So this is going to raise up a little bit. There'll be a little bit of negative space in here. And one of the things that I'm planning on is that for the space under the stairs here, we actually have enough room. We could put gyros in here. So if we went with, let's say, yeah, that would probably be about the right height for it. Because we're going to have 2 layers of armor, which is going to put it equal to here. So we could actually load this entire space up with gyros. And that would give us a whole lot of gyro power. The other thing, I've been thinking about it, and yes, I'm going to move our gravity generator over one. So it's 1, 2, 3, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll be able to put two generators side by side. I'm thinking that'll look better than having the one there, because that off-center, especially with the smaller one, just is irritating me. Every time I come through the hangar, I'm just like, something's wrong. Oh yeah, that thing. Alright, so if we do, so we're looking at quite a bit of block work here. In the bridge area, I may extend out like another block or two. Just so I can walk in front of the seats. And so that will need to be at least 3 blocks if I want to do that. At least do that and still be inside of a pressure envelope. I mean, it's... Hi. I can't get through there now. Okay, maybe I won't do that because those, huh? So maybe I'll have to take that wall out, one on both sides. Because I'm betting if I do that, I bet that's enough for us to walk through there now. Yep. Okay. Which would let me be able to come up here. Yeah, I think I like the idea of being able to get up here, but I don't think I need to get in front of the chairs. So let's... Which means you guys are going to come back this way. All right. So we're going to end up with something like that. And then obviously we have to do the same on this side. And that comes back like so. And then again, like I said, this is going to be replaced with heavy armor at some point. Okay, so that gets us that. Since we're doing all of this in this shape, be able to do a gradual slope, like a step slope down. So if we were to then say something like this, yeah, and like I said, I'm not sure what we're looking at for the depth of all this, but never hurts. So I need to go up 3, which means I need 6 blocks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get to that height. So if we go into, and then 2, alright, so if we do that to there, so if we end that there, and we go there, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so
energy low.
move all of you forward one. Yeah, that should work. That should work. Okay, so that gets us to there. And then what I'm thinking is for the glass, we're going to do basically what we did down in the observatory area, where we'll end up with something like this-ish. So basically it'll be a little bulbous coming out here. Take this stuff out. Yeah, that should work. But again, basically it's going to take, it's going to be set up around something like this. So we'll see how that actually plays out. All right, so go there, that'll be 2, and then it'll loop back. We'll do 2 sloped, 2 vertical, 2 sloped. Maybe 1 sloped. Because if we do this, so if we do that,
Energy critical.
To there, and then we have a sloped window coming off, and it just as a placeholder. So then we have a window slope coming out like that on both sides. Yeah, into the vertical face. Let me go like so. And then we have 2 windows up here on vertical, on the horizontals like that, or horizontal, on the diagonal. So you have 2 window, a 1x2, and then a 1. And then that should give us, hop in the seat for a second since we're here. Yeah, that should give us a really nice forward view. Okay. Now we have the ability to walk up and down in here. This will all be pretty much standard at this point, I think. And then what we'll end up with here is this will actually come all the way across. You are even with the top. Okay. So you're going to be here. But hopefully this should give you an idea of where my thought process is with this, with the ship at this point. There. And if we really needed to, we could actually turn this into either part of the, like a area that is overlooking the lower section. But I don't think that'll be necessary. I think what we'll be able to do is, I think from here we could bring this out. To something like that, maybe. And then what I'm thinking is on this, we bring this out on a 2x1 block descent. Down to whatever we need it to be. And that gives us a bit smoother of a transition. But that also means that what we'll be able to do here is bring our ceiling height down a bit. And you're going to be, yeah. Oh, nope, there we go. There to there. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. The problem that we run into is here. Since we're doing 2x1s. I mean, I could do is I could actually carry this over from here. So that it carries through at that angle. And we have that carry mostly across here. If we do that, let me check the head clearance on this. Like I said, I'm not sold on this idea yet. I know that that'll be high enough, so if we do that, we'll be able to flip it on the other side.
Energy low.
And we do the same here. So we have that. Check that. Yeah. Okay, so obviously enough clearance to get through there. So maybe we'll do that. And then since we need this to be mostly closed off anyway, we end up with something like that with our wall, the back wall here. Right. And so then this becomes a big flat platform area out here. Comes out to this is just to get an idea where it's going to end. All right. And so then this comes out. To there. And then what I'm thinking is we set up a solar farm here. How many solar can we get out there? And then this gives us our alternative, like, emergency power system. So we do one. I'd love to be able to get 4 of these out here. I can, no, I can't. I can only get 3. Okay, so since it's an even number, or should be an even number, there. If we go there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Why do we have an odd number there? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have an odd number. Alright, I need to figure out which side is odd. This side is, that side is odd. Okay. So that has to go over 1. So yeah, we should be able to actually get a bunch of solar out there, which is good. Okay, so I think we're going to go ahead and call this one here. I want to thank you all for stopping in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, you know the routine. And I'll just leave it at that.